I put on a clean collar. I was in our room on the second floor where I could see into the Hubble's yard and the ring on the stone post where they tie up their dog. The dog wasn't there. The collar which I took off had two kinds of laundry mark on the inside, one mark from the laundry where I used to take my shirts and a second mark from the present laundry. Then I washed my hands. The soap was worn down so that there was almost none left. It was a soap that smelled like salad. I turned off the water, but the water still went drip drip from the faucet. I dried my hands. I hung the towel on the left end of the rod. The right end of the rod is for May. The rod is glass and someday it will come loose and fall down and break. I shut the bathroom door so that I would not hear the drip drip of the water from the faucet. I went into the room again, which is for May and mine. On her bed, in the daytime, she keeps a French doll with big eyes. Where the back of the bed hits the wall, there is a mark. I moved out of the bed and I saw the mark. It is black and a yard long. The doll fell off and I put it back on the bed so it could not look at me when I went out. Then I went out. I was in the hall and I shut my eyes. I didn't know what kind of wallpaper there was in the hall. I thought that it would be green, but when I opened my eyes again it was more blue than green, with a woman, with a basket, and a lamp. Around the door, the wallpaper was cut off, and there was only the lamp, 8 times from ceiling to the floor, no woman, and no basket, but only the lamp. I could touch the ceiling when I stood on my toes. Next to our room is the extra room, which we do not use. I went into that. The back of the mirror was peeling off, and both windows were closed. On the window, there was a large fly, and I opened the window and drove him out, and he flew away. And in the window frame, there was a long nail, and I took off my shoe and drove in the nail with the heel of my shoe. Then I put on my shoe again. I measured the room by walking across in each direction from one wall to another. It is 10 by 14. I came into the parlor from the door across from the desk. The desk has 3 drawers down one side. I took out an envelope from the bottom drawer and put some money in it and wrote for May on it and put it on the top of the desk. The curtains in the parlor were red. Where the sun hits them there's a part that is not red, but pink. There was a magazine on the table called Movieland, and I started to read it, but I did not read it. I went over the fireplace and looked at the rest of the room from there, and I saw the table and the carpet and how 2 chairs were facing right towards each other. I sat down on one of them and one of its legs was shorter than the others, and I got up and went into the peas. She forces the peas out of the shell with her thumb and they fell into the bowl. There were 3 peas on the floor and I picked them up and put them in my pocket. The kitchen floor was laid in linoleum with blue and white squares, 2 inches squares. May was sitting on a stool, reading a paper placed in front of her. She did not turn around when I came in. She said, "When you come back, bring some stove polish with you." I said I was going now. I went out through the back door into the yard and there I saw my kid playing with some sand and toy truck and then running the truck back and forth through the sand. The sand was wet and I could see the print of his hand on it. It was his left hand. I said, "So long, son," to him, but he didn't say anything. He was too busy with his truck in the sand. Then I went to the garage and unlocked the door. I ran a cloth over the windshield of the car and it was scratched in a half circle where the windshield wiper wipes it. And I stood there a couple minutes and then I closed the doors and walked alongside the house to the front and looked at my watch. It was 20 minutes to 10. Then I walked down the wooden steps to the sidewalk and I counted the steps. I counted 10 steps. I thought I counted the last step, but perhaps I didn't. I walked down the street and I looked back and saw the house and there was one window with a shade halfway down and I wanted to go back and count the steps again to make sure, but I didn't. I walked down to the corner and took the bus and got off at the police station and found Captain Rogers and told him that if they were looking for the man who killed Sam Matthews they should arrest me because I had done it. Captain Rogers asked me if I want to write out a confession and I said that I would, but before I tell them how I killed Matthews I want to write down the last things which I saw in my house and how I remember them because now I will want always to be able to remember about all those things that I won't ever see again.